Hello, happy Sunday. I am coming in here to tune in for our collective energy for the week ahead. We're going to do our weekly 5-card spread, chat a little bit about the energies this week, as well as pull a special card because we have a new moon this week, new moon in Virgo happening on the 13th. So that is going to be on Wednesday, depending on where you are in the world. We are looking at moving through the very healing energies that this moon offers midweek into and through the end of this week. So as we build up to this new moon energy now, this is a beautiful time for us to be thinking about our intentions, our manifestations, those seeds that we are planting, and as any proper Virgo new moon would, thinking about putting those things into order and getting clarity on the steps that we are taking. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that after we pull the cards. I'll pop in here and chat a little bit about those energies. If you're watching this on the Marco Polo September Empowerment Sharecast, this is where I will be broadcasting this every week, but I also will share this out on my wider social media platforms so that you know where to find us for the in-depth nitty-gritty, because I will be breaking down Monday through Friday the 5 cards that come up, and also we will have a live tonight over on Facebook on the Majestic Designs community page. We are back. Last week we were off for the holiday, but we're going to be coming on live. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is our normal meet time. Tonight, it happens to be the opening weekend of the NFL for American football, so I'm a little bit moving around my husband's schedule this evening, so I might be pushing that time a little bit to 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, but I will put the link to the live tonight, and I will be updating the time there. We always have a good time. What we're doing is sort of building on the momentum of these card pulls where we chat a little bit about everything that's come forward, and then we get into some personal card pulls for you that I offer every week, where you can get a card to go along with the week ahead spread just for you. You can also request personal card pulls right here in Marco Polo. You can simply quick reply to this message or send me a message in any other fashion, and I will pull a card just for you this week, and you can do that at any time. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to dive in. We are working with an absolutely beautiful deck. Many of you have seen, because I did pull some cards for this weekend. A couple of prior polos over, you will see the cards that came forward for this weekend. Love to hear how that may be playing out for you. Quite interesting, because we had 2 energies in there, namely the Devil and the 5 of Wands, that I have seen playing up this weekend in my orbit, but also the 10 of Cups, time with family and loved ones, and some really beautiful energies as well. So this is a beautiful deck. We're going to dive in here and start shuffling up for our week ahead. Whoops, we got a little notification going off there. Asking for some guidance around our collective energies this week and what we may expect as we move through this week. Each day of the week here has a different position, intention for the spread, but of course these cards are playing out any day of the week because time is not linear, and how these messages may play up for you can vary widely. So as always, take what resonates, leave the rest. Now here we're just pulling the cards, and then I'll be coming in separately with messages for each day of the week. So the first card for Monday represents the overarching energy for this week ahead, sort of kicking it off, giving us an idea of the energies that we're moving into this week. Oh, 9 of Swords. Okay, so we've got some headsiness going on here. Good to know. Tuesday represents a potential block or challenge this week. Potential block or challenge. The Hierophant. Wow, higher learning, spiritual ascension, so much more. Yes, that is a very powerful energy that we are experiencing collectively. Wednesday is going to be a midweek blessing for us. A midweek blessing this week. The 8 of Wands. Okay, woo. All right, this is New Moon Day, so there's some action happening there. Some sparks and some creativity, some inspiration. I'll come back to Wednesday to pull our Queen of the Moon card for the new moon. Thursday, how are we growing? How are we growing collectively this week? 9 of Cups. I love this. Okay, because I meant to say, yesterday being the 9/9 portal, the energy of 9, obviously here in the 9th month, very prevalent. I'm going to talk a little bit about that too. So I love the idea that we're starting off the week with this 9 energy that's a little bit more frenetic, a little bit more potentially chaotic, with the element of air and swords and the headsiness, as I said. But then we're growing into the watery, emotional heart chakra energy of the 9 of Cups. We'll see how that comes forward when we get into the messages. And now Friday wraps up the week. Little punctuation mark here for our week with the Friday card. Seven of Swords. Okay, yeah, a lot to unpack this week to feel into there. Let's see about an energy for this new moon, for the new moon in Virgo this week. Queen of the Moon Oracle bringing forward a message for us with this new moon. Of course, I will be going deeper with those messages with my Empowerment Pack group. We do a reading for the 2 major lunations of the month, or if it was last month, we had 3. So I will be getting ready to tune in depth for our new moon reading this month. I always invite anyone who did not get to come along for the Empowerment Pack to join us with a one-off reading. You are always welcome to book the Hello Empowerment reading with me and receive the full new moon reading with the card spread that I will be choosing and the messages that come forward, along with a personal oracle card pull just for you. So if you're interested in coming along this week for the new moon, do let me know and we will get you all set up for that. But just dipping into the energy here, we have one card coming forward. Aha, resistance. Okay, yes, very interesting. We are gonna, I'm laughing because, like I said, the devil and the 5 of Wands energy stirring up this weekend, and just myself and other people I've talked to today really feeling that energy. So we're gonna dive into that. I'll be popping back in here now with some of the astrological and energetic aspects, and then we'll be breaking down Monday through Friday. Okay, so as we get ready to take a look at the cards coming forward, let's take a look back here from yesterday's energy, as I mentioned, over the weekend. And again, with this spread this week coming up with double nines, yesterday was 9-9. Numerologically, a very powerful day. All of those types of 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, all of those calendar dates all hold powerful portal energies that we can tune into. And so I talked about this energy a little bit ahead of the weekend on the prior polos, and here is a graphic that I had wanted to share about this energy, the vibration of the number 9, that it is a culmination point that is coming forward, that we are moving into now as we sort of have this graduation, this energy of culminating and graduating, a period of accelerated growth. So there's guidance to keep connected to our center, trusting that we know the way through, tapping into that wisdom. And we'll talk a little bit about that this week because it is actually our potential blocker challenge, energies of the Hierophant coming forward. So we'll get into that. But with this 9th day of the 9th month, it unlocks this number code 9-9. And 9, as I said, is a number of culmination, of graduation. So it can be worthwhile as we're sort of reflecting back on yesterday's energy and what has been coming in around us, each individually and collectively, an opportunity for us to reflect on, what we've graduated from in our life. 9 is also a number of spiritual enlightenment. So it's something that we can obtain at each graduation point on our journey. And, I've talked a lot about the spiral, the energy of like the Nautilus shell medicine of coming around again and coming back around to these points, these familiar places that we have been to before. And yet recognizing, our paths are spiral, which means we are always learning. We're here in Earth's classroom, having our fool's journey, having this experience through this human perspective, which is colored by the lenses of our environment, of our unique experiences, our personalities, and so much more. But we can have this higher wisdom, this knowing of higher learning about recognizing these graduation points on our journey, that when we come around again on the spiral, when we revisit familiar patterns, familiar energies, that we can make it a point to celebrate the growth that we can see. Yes, I may be back in a familiar place, and yet I am experiencing it through the new lens of the wisdom I have gleaned from having experienced this thing before. And yes, that can feel a bit redundant, a little repetitive, a little bit like Groundhog Day, as I've been saying, this energy of being back in a familiar place, which may or may not be preferable. However that's showing up for you. But even just from a really practical standpoint, I've been talking a lot about the back to school energy. I have a senior this year, and of course, graduation is a big buzzword, and all of the things that come along with that. So for many of us, we may be experiencing something that has to do with this element of higher learning, graduations, culminations, and don't forget the celebrations, the point of acknowledging how far you've come and all that you have experienced to get here. So just a little circle back around to yesterday's 9-9 energy. It will continue as we move into this week where we have 2 9s on the board. And we are in the 9th month to really be moving through this energy of coming into our highest, most aligned paths. I've been talking a lot about that in the empowerment pack, this energy for September of in alignment, fall into alignment, right? And to really find ourselves, consciously choosing the most aligned path for us now, recognizing that that always is ever evolving and changing, and we are free to realign and change our paths at any time. So I am going to pull up the week ahead cards, talk a little bit about the astrological energies, and then the Monday through Friday here in just a few. Okay, so as we get ready to kick off the week ahead and go through each of the 5 cards that came forward, as well as our Queen of the Moon Oracle message, I'm just going to touch a little bit on the rather light astrological energies we have. There's really not much going on this week, which is sort of a welcome reprieve. Like I said, this new moon carries a lot of healing energy, but I have to correct the record. I think I said September 13th, and in my mind, I have a major event going on the 13th, which is hosting nearly 30 high school volleyball girls here at my house. So I think my list making and my getting straight on all the things that I need to do this week, I said the 13th Wednesday, but the September 14th Virgo new moon is happening, peaking at 9:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that means for most of us, it will be 14th into 15th, actually. So not the 13th, not Wednesday. So just to clarify, it's kind of funny because I'm looking at our cards here, and between the scatteredness of that 9 of Swords, I was going to say when I pulled that first card for Monday that you'll see close up here momentarily, I do feel like that Raven because I'm in a cycle of, tossing and turning when it's time for me to go to sleep, thinking about all the things I have to do this week, and then waking up like eyes wide open, suddenly with my to-do list. So I'm feeling that, as well as the communication snafus of Mercury retrograde, but a good update on that too. So just real quick, September 14th, Virgo new moon, this is really a rather gentle, beautiful, healing energy to this new moon. And it is in fact the last lunar cycle before eclipse season begins. So it's a wonderful time for us to soak up these healing vibrations and use them to recharge our mind, body, and soul. So yes, I'm really feeling this energy of the 9 this week between our 9 of Swords and our 9 of Cups that show up in our spread this week for Monday and Thursday. So, Virgo is represented by the Virgin Goddess. So that in itself is a symbol of autonomy, of sovereignty, and inner power. It taps into a fountain of resources that we all have within us. And so, this is what the Virgo Goddess celebrates, is all of that power within, and really encouraging us with this new moon to take back control over our lives and to set the tone for what is to come. So that'll be interesting to feel into when we take a look at this card of resistance that came up with the Queen of the Moon Oracle for this energy. So, of course, we may not be able to control everything. In fact, that C word probably needs to take a back seat, because it is something that can have us spinning our wheels and feeling stuck when it comes to what we can control, how we choose to approach things, and our mindset moving forward. Now, it's not all beautiful, gentle healing energies. There is a little activity going on here with Uranus, the planet of surprise, the planet of awakenings. It's very active actually under this new moon. So there could be some surprising new things surfacing at this time. Different like news or things coming up to the surface unexpectedly. So whatever news greets us, and thinking back, if you saw my messages this weekend, that was all up on the precipice of, those types of collective big picture things that the energies are ripe for. Whatever that news is, remember the calling of the Virgo Goddess. We have all that we need within us to navigate the path that we find ourselves on. So the Virgo new moon is also a very practical energy for creating structure and a routine. So you can really use this energy to clear out the clutter and get more organized in all areas of your life. I'm telling you, I like just unknowingly, I have a donation pickup happening tomorrow. I have all this stuff in my garage that I need to get together for picking up. It's on my list. It's one of the many things, but so in alignment, ding, 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 with our buzzword for the month, so in alignment with this Virgo season, Virgo new moon energy. So the other big news this week is September 15th, Friday, Mercury stations direct. Yay! Mercury finally stations direct after being retrograde since August. I have felt this Mercury retrograde quite profoundly. My home PC computer is still on the fritz. still making my life interesting. And, all of those types of technical challenges and communication challenges and things that we may have been experiencing during this retrograde. So then once Mercury does station direct on Friday, the 15th, this means we have no more inner planets that are in retrograde. So this is going to bring a huge shift to the accumulation of retrograde energy that we've been feeling. Retrograde energy can create, as we've talked about, that slow down effect, making us feel sluggish or uncertain, or, as I mentioned, that we are moving in circles. So this can be particularly enhanced when the inner planets are in retrograde. So all of that going around again energy. I'm not saying it's going away completely, but it's definitely going to help to bring some relief to that, because September continues to be a month of really reconciling and culminating a lot of these things. But Mercury and Venus, both of which are inner planets, had been in retrograde since August 23rd. So we're likely to have been really feeling this energy. So even though Mercury will take some time to leave its post-retrograde shadow and get those aftershock waves, we should begin feeling some relief from any sluggish stagnancy. So maybe some new, again, on the other side of this new moon, energy motivation for getting back into alignment. So when Mercury stations direct, often we're gifted with that information that we need in order to begin moving forward. So some very appreciated clarity as well. So let's get ready now. I'm going to come on here with the cards, and we'll do a little breakdown of the Monday through Friday and our Queen of the Moon Oracle message. Okay, we are kicking off our week ahead with the Monday energy that has come forward to sort of set the tone for the week. It's quite accurate for me. I really feel like I am this raven right now. It's a little bit crazy here. It's a little bit like Grand Central Station. So I am not going to be surprised if household noises abound as I attempt to record our breakdown for this week ahead. We're kicking it off with the energy of the Nine of Swords. And as I mentioned in the card pull and in my overview of the astrological aspects and energies this week, we have two nines showing up here just on the other side of yesterday's 9-9 portal here in the 9th month. So 9 representing for us culminations, graduations, coming to completion before an ending to a new beginning. And this energy is quite frenetic. As I said, this is the energy of the monkey mind, the energy of, tossing and turning, energy at night, unable to sleep, that hamster wheel of thoughts that we can't quite shut off. Swords are the air element. They represent activity in the crown. So our ideas, our thoughts, our beliefs, logic, analyzing things, and in some cases like this, analysis paralysis, sort of being stuck in the head, having a lot of thoughts spinning. And like I said, how is this showing up for me? I have a super busy week this week with the kids back to school, 2 of them having back to school nights this week, as I mentioned. And thank you very much to many of you who asked about how my oldest daughter is doing. She has a sports injury. She's meeting with the orthopedic doctor on Monday afternoon. So we have a big appointment there to find out whether she needs an MRI or further testing and things that are yet to be on the calendar. Also, like I said, hosting 30 volleyball players at my home this week. And that's just the short list. So, just personally for me, suffice it to say, busy, a lot of things going on, all those swords, all of that energy. And here it's beautifully shown with this energy here of all of this air element of movement going on in the head, really trying to get clarity and maybe resting the mind. So, a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on that we may be spending some cerebral time processing, or even just on a basic level, having difficulty sleeping or struggling with getting even comfortable for some people for sleep or for good rest or quiet or peace in your environment with just a lot of others around you, a lot of other moving parts that are making it difficult for you to feel at peace, for you to feel in a state of clarity. So, that energy is here, like I said, with this full moon, or the new moon rather, the Virgo new moon, the activity of Uranus, and the idea that does bring some volatile sort of, shake up energy. So there is that buzzing around as well. But, as we move through the week, we will see exactly how we can sort of bring that, harmonize that into a place of it actually being a gift, actually being something that is something to even have gratitude for, to be able to bring all of that together and get some clarity around organizing and strategizing, how we are navigating whatever is coming up for each of us individually. So we're going to go ahead and dive into the Tuesday energy, which does speak to the potential blocker challenge this week, to kind of see how that's working with this energy, and then proceed through our week. So let's take a look. All right, Tuesday is a card that represents a potential block or challenge for us this week, and we have the Hierophant, Major Arcana card 5. Now, like I said, over here on the Marco Polo Sharecast, I did share some card polls for this weekend, and I talked about this energy of the 5 of Wands that came up, which was about, I call it my poop stirring card, stirring around lower vibrational energies, argumentative energies, competitive energies, fruitless energy, right? Not a good use of our energy, of things being stirred around, and our potential to rise above that and to navigate from a certain perspective. Now, the Hierophant is a representation of higher learning, of the guru, of the teacher, of being the mentor and the mentee, and so it does have this teacher-student energy. How can this be a potential block or challenge this week? And, the first thing that comes to mind for me is a degree of, like I said about the spinning wheels with our 9 of Swords, this idea of feeling maybe frustrated with our circumstances, overwhelmed by our circumstances. And in what way does that involve other people, other circumstances that we are interacting with, that we are having an experience with, that inevitably then affects us because our energies are meeting, and there is no way to not be impacted by the energy of others or the energy of situations or our environment. And so, when we are tasked with being in the position of the teacher, of the spiritual enlightened, one or guru who is emanating a certain lesson to a class, right? So this can come up anyway, but I was just looking at the beautiful story here in the Raven's Dream, and it talks about this wise teacher who is encountering this young pack of wolves who are obviously very excited and a little bit immature and maybe difficult to rein in. And so there's this energy of holding the vibration of the loving, compassionate teacher to think about. And I talk about this often with the energy of the Hierophant, inspired by one of my favorite versions of that card, which is called Teach in the Psychic Tarot for the Heart, where it shows a very soft-looking woman who's holding a rose and a book in her lap, and there's a dog next to her and children in front of her. And it shows this energy of patience and compassion and understanding and gentleness with the class, recognizing their novice status, the level that they are on in their learning journey. Not better or worse, higher or lower in terms of even saying the enlightened one or someone who has passed through particular lessons that the class has yet to experience. So there's this energy, this dynamic of our dealings with others this week, where there is a degree of patience, compassion, and understanding being called for that can be very challenging, right? It can be very challenging to navigate all of that. Even like I said, within my own household, definitely encountered some of this 5 of Wands energy this weekend, which was the card that had come up. The argumentative, stirring things around, not a good use of our energy, trying to talk to a teenager who is clearly much more learned than I, right? So the dynamics and the ability to get pulled down into the muck, to be triggered, right? And so when we talk about that 9 of Swords energy of like that, feeling of frustration and, spinning around of energies and such, that can certainly be a challenge, right, for us to navigate. And so I just want to take a look at the story here just to see some words of wisdom that are coming in through the Hierophant to feel into how might this be showing up for us collectively this week and how you might be able to tap into this energy for yourself personally. So in this Raven's Dream, in this particular dreamscape, found itself amidst a gathering of youthful, zealous wolves, all attentively learning from an elder who embodied wisdom accumulated over many seasons. This seasoned pack member was imparting what is truly meant to bear the identity of a wolf to understand the essence of collective harmony and the importance of adhering to their way of life. The young wolves were learning to appreciate the rabbit as prey and as the integral part of their ecosystem, recognizing each creature's significant role within their community. So, that's the scene that's playing out here. So there's actually an elder wolf who is the teacher of the younger, more zealous wolves, right? The raven is just observing this with the rabbit, and the key here to wisdom and unlocking these pathways of higher learning and evolution on our fool's journeys, and remembering that everyone is at a different place on that journey. So having that presence of mind when we're encountering others, whether they are younger or simply just less experienced, or they might even be older and very set in their way. And part of the other thing that the Hierophant represents is tradition, conformity, old systems, and ways of being that are in need of shifting and changing, that are crumbling. And so again, big messages similar to what was coming in this weekend. Hierophant energy continues because of this need, this opportunity for us to greet this energy of 5. Like I said, that was the 5 of Wands. This is card 5 of the major arcana. 5 carries the energy of chaos, of change, of transformation, of the rebel, of freedom and expansion. So this is a theme that we will continue to be seeing on the collective stage, and then the myriad of ways that it plays out for each of us. And yes, it can be a potential block or a challenge to navigating things with ease, right? So there's this opportunity for us to step into this role of not only being a teacher, but allowing ourselves to remain teachable, right? To say, yes, I have opinions, I have knowledge that I have gathered, I have experiences that have brought me to this point on my journey, that I wish to perhaps share with others, or that come across my path that I feel that clash or that energy of, oh, okay, this is a perspective that I hold that perhaps you don't. How do we navigate those things from that higher perspective? And that's going to continue to be an energy for us to tap into as we continue to move through all of this that is unfolding. As we come into the culmination of the 9, the opportunity for graduation, we look to the new beginnings and where to from here. So there's definitely a major significant archetype coming in to light that way forward, to remain teachable, and to also access the aspects of you that can be a teacher of compassion, a teacher of patience, a teacher of allowing others' unique journeys, and understanding the foundations from which everyone is coming can be quite challenging to navigate, right? As you try to lay new framework, right? So this energy of rebuilding things and restructuring things, and the natural friction that can cause, right? So, that is a theme that will continue to play out. So this week is no exception, coming in here as our blocker challenge. But let's look at our midweek blessing for Wednesday next. Okay, Wednesday is our midweek blessing, and we have the 8 of Wands coming in here. So just kind of tuning into the story for the Raven. There's a lot going on here with these falcons kind of diving, but I noticed right away the sheep down here. There's 8 and 8, so we're bringing in the energy of 8 here, which of course is a very fortuitous number, a number of abundance. And in the case of the 8 of Wands, it's about rapid movement, it's fire, it's action. So what's kind of nice about this midweek blessing is the idea of, if we have been stuck, spinning our wheels, sleepless nights, this energy of, churning things around in circles, the 8 of Wands actually brings in the fire aspect of things really setting off and things moving, taking inspired action. But also there's another note here specifically with the Raven's Dream Tarot about communication, about messages coming in, about rapid fire, about decisions and movements being made. So again, as we talk about Thursday's new moon, bringing in not just the healing energies of Virgo, of getting things sort of lined up, which a lot of times you'll see the 8 of Wands depicted with those 8 wands sort of like arrows, or fire, flaming arrows even sometimes. So I like to think about that as like having a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of arrows in the quiver. So I'm feeling this midweek blessing really as we get ready to move into the new moon energies, because 1, it's aligning everything. It's bringing everything, getting all of our sheep lined up, right? So, and again, I'm feeling this energy of, if you have been having a degree of inability to sleep. Here, this is making me think of counting sheep, right? This energy of counting sheep and this inability to rest the mind. Let's put it that way. So whether it's hitting you in the sleeping hours or it's hitting you in your waking hours, both, somewhere in between, counting sheep, going over everything, all of that sort of cyclical energy, there's some movement happening. There's some things changing up with that, where there could be some quick decisions needed, or something that helps to just get that going. For me, like I said, the idea of having all those people coming to my house on Wednesday, there's so many moving parts. There's a lot going on. It turns out that while these girls will be arriving, I will also need to clone myself and be at the back to school night for my 5th grader. So I already have a degree of anxiety about the idea that there's all this going on at once, where I need to be in 2 places, and making sure that, my husband will be here holding down the fort, but making sure that he's in the know of what to do. Again, this is so, you're in the muck of my life right now when I start getting into this stuff. But that's the point, is that all the spiritual, all these aspects are the everyday, are the mundane, is in the muck, is in the practical, like I said, chopping wood, carrying water, taking care of the things one by one. So I'm feeling the blessing in, yes, you're going to start to really see that things are lining up. There's going to be quick decisions made where it's like, there's no going back now. It's happening. Everything is fine. You don't have to make it more complicated than it is. You don't have to continue to overthink and overanalyze everything. It's all good, and it's happening. It's moving. It'll be over before you know it. So be present, right? And also, like I said, in terms of potential communications coming in for you, the Raven's Tarot talks about, this 8 of Wands speaking to communication and representing communication. So it could refer to a rapid information exchange For you, quick decisions or messages coming your way, and it could indicate that you'll soon receive news or important information. And isn't that interesting when we know that, as I shared about this Virgo new moon and the Uranus component, there is an aspect of surprising news, of things coming in, in a flash. So again, big stage, collective, your life personally, one way or the other. There's this energy, but it's coming here as a blessing, and it's an 8 energy. So that's feeling good to me. It's feeling like abundance. It's feeling like something that is ultimately moving towards your highest good for our blessing. So now let's take a look at New Moon Day, how we are growing. Okay, Thursday is New Moon Day. So we have the energy of Thursday that speaks to how we are growing this week. Also the day of our new moon in Virgo. And we have the 9 of Cups. So the second 9 on our spread this week brings in the energy of the 9 of Cups. And then also we will speak separately about the resistance energy that came in through the Queen of the Moon Oracle. I'll follow this right up with that message. And so the 9 of Cups is a beautiful card of wishes fulfilled, wishes coming true, of having those 9 cups of abundance filled. And here we see that this raven has everything that it could possibly need at its disposal. There's all of this abundance all around. And also we see this, and again, this is in the dreamscape of the raven, seeing itself with the tail of a peacock. So sort of having this like big, bold, beautiful energy of pride, like the peacock might demonstrate for us, but also, which is another message of the 9. So like I said, opposing 9 energies this week between our 9 of Swords kicking off the week and this 9 of Cups as how we are growing, moving from this state of lockdown, immobility, unable to get clarity, spinning our wheels in our head, to dropping into the heart, the water element of the 9 of Cups, of recognizing all of the abundance that's actually available to us, all of the wishes that are actually coming true, maybe in very different ways than we expected or that we wished for them to be. There's that C word again about control, about wishing to control the narrative or control the who, what, when, where, why, hows of it all, versus if I'm putting my wishes out into the universe. And I heard a really beautiful comparison to this last week. It might even have been with this card because it was during our month ahead readings for the Empowerment Pack. The energy of making a wish, right? And so thinking about wishing at a wishing well, and the idea that we take the coin, we speak our intentions to the coin, and then you drop that coin down into the well, which is symbolic of you letting it go, of releasing it, and recognizing that I have spoken my intentions. I have planted the seeds. I have put into the universe the dream, the wish, the hope, and now I release it. And I love that coming up with this energy. I release it and allow the universe to bring it to me. And in order to do that, I don't need to give explicit directions on exactly how that needs to happen, right? Trying to control everything. One of the things that I will talk about when we feel into the Queen of the Moon message here with resistance, and think about this as well with picking up all of those full abundant cups. When I have a fisted grip, when I am trying to hold on very tightly to all of the details of how, who, what, when, where, why, I can't pick up anything new. I can't receive when I am trying to control in that energy, right? The new moon is talking about taking some control in our life when it comes to having some order and clarity on steps we are taking, but not about trying to hold on so tightly in resistance or in an effort to call all the shots on exactly how all my wishes are going to come true. Because then I'm limiting myself. It's tight, right? We can feel that energy. So I actually am really feeling the connection between these two cards that came up for this day really beautifully for us collectively, because this 9 of Cups really speaking to all of this abundance. And again, it's being shown through the energy of these lilies or lotus, the flowers that are growing in the muck that needed to go through a dark period in order to come into full bloom. So the energy of the spinning of our wheels and the going around and not having rest in our mind or having peace, all a part of the steps that led to ultimately all of this coming into bloom into our lives. And, with this energy of what we really have when we open up, like imagine if the peacock feathers were to fully expand and open, that we can really get a look at everything and recognize that there are a lot more blessings and abundance and growth here than perhaps we originally realized. Resources that we weren't aware of. So there's this energy here of really opening up to abundance and allowing ourselves to receive all that's coming in. Wishes fulfilled, contentment and satisfaction, gratitude, number one. Seeds of gratitude, right? Really, as you move through this new moon, having an opportunity to really think about, into the new season as we gear up for whether it is equinox for autumn or spring for you, depending on where you are in the world, but this idea of harvest, this idea of coming into bloom, what are the seeds that you're planting now with this last new moon before eclipse season of what it is that you want to welcome into your life. And you're not welcoming it like, hey, hi, I'm over here controlling everything. No. Open up, right? We're opening up. Welcome in. We're picking things up. We're loosening up. So I'm feeling this energy of releasing some of that rigidity from the lens of gratitude. Comfort. So this is a card that can represent comfortable and a pleasurable lifestyle. It can also signify indulgence, enjoyment of life's luxuries and satisfaction. That is one thing about the Nine of Cups, is it also can speak to overindulgence. It can literally mean like overindulging in drink and food and, what we are taking in, which again is very much bringing us into the Virgin goddess energy of Virgo, looking at our bodies, our health, our well-being, how we are nourishing ourselves. These are all things that have been coming up for us. So again, just another perspective of how we are growing into what's going in and then what we are expecting to come out. If before I go to bed, I'm spending my time on a screen, maybe late night snacking or anything that is going in that's not going to put out opportunities for me to get good rest, to have quiet and peace in my mind. Big surprise then when I experience the hamster wheel of thoughts, what goes in and what I'm asking to have come out. So also an opportunity for us to look at all this abundance that we have around us, what's serving, what's not, what is out of balance, what can come into more alignment. So Thursday, big energy. Let's pull up the resistance card now, and I will share with you the Queen of the Moon messages for this one. Okay, so here we have the Queen of the Moon oracle message that came forward for us for Thursday's new moon in Virgo. It's bringing forward the energy of resistance. And I was just talking about that along with our Thursday, How Are We Growing tarot message, the Nine of Cups, and how this 9 energy has shown up for us twice this week, highlighting the 9-9 portal that we have just come through yesterday and the energy of 9 in terms of culminations, graduations, and opportunities for us to open up to new, right? So the mantra that goes with this card is, I flow through resistance and I am in control. And that is the C word that we are feeling into here to see what does that mean to be in control and what it is that we control. And then also empowering ourselves with the choice, another important C word, to be discerning about what we try to control and what we can open up to release in order to receive, right? So I'm feeling these energies coming in. So, this card talks about getting yourself familiar with how resistance manifests for you. What does it mean for you to be resistant, to have resistance, whether it's overt or covert? And those are both ways that, in fact, resistance does show up in our lives. So if you continue to feel as though you have doors slammed in your face, turn around. There's normally an open door right there. This is just speaking to this perception of rejection or feeling like, we're unable to get things to open up. And it starts there right in our very own fist as a physical symbol of that energy of holding on, right? So another thing is what I call one of the sneaky peas, procrastination, which is just another kind of fear. So there's an invitation to move forward with confidence and persistence. So there's 2 kinds of resistance that she talks about here. The first type we encounter when we keep getting obstacles placed in our way, if our way feels blocked. So for example, we try to get a particular job in a particular field, but no matter what we do, it doesn't happen. This is external or overt resistance. It's obvious, right? No can do. It doesn't work out. We don't get it. Covert resistance, which occurs when we say we really want to do or complete something, but we feel resistance not to. And that can be somewhat sneakier. So all forms of procrastination will fit in here. So writer's block, for example, when we want to do something, or creative block, let's call it creative block, when we want to do something, but we get distracted and then we don't do it. Or we just can't seem to engage our will enough. That is covert resistance. So this is an opportunity for us to look at the way that resistance shows up in our lives. So when we want to get rid of a bad habit, an addiction, an old pattern, in fact, anything that we're thinking of releasing, feeling resistance to do so, that is a big dose of covert resistance. Because if I really let this thing go, if I truly relinquish the tight hold that I've had on it, then I might have to come face to face with taking some steps, taking action, and I could fail like I have before. This is 9 of Swords energy. This is old scripts playing back in the mind, this sneaky, covert way that resistance shows up in the form of procrastination. So therefore, we must battle this second kind of resistance like we would battle a crafty and terrible enemy. We must raise our shields and sharpen our swords and have a strategy to remove the resistance. In fact, we must flow through it. It's a battle that we might have to fight more than once, but we will be resilient and vigilant, and fight it we will. For when we win, and we will win, the rewards are great. So think about that in terms of all of the different blocks that show up this week, the things I've been talking about. We talked about the energy of 5, the Hierophant, and the idea that, there's this aspect of all of us fools being on different stages of our journeys, different legs of our learning, and recognizing, the resistance that may be brought up against any pushing back of old things that must let go, that must be released. And so how is that showing up in your life? How do you see that showing up for the collective? And really something for us to reflect on as we move through the energies of this new moon. Why do we resist the things that we say we want? Sometimes we don't really want those things. So most times, though, it's because we're frightened about what might happen if we do get what we have asked for. That is the 9 of Cups, which is the card that came up with this for Thursdays. How are we growing? Wishes fulfilled, wishes granted, actually getting all the things that I have been hoping for, right? I drop that coin down into the wishing well, and sure enough, here it all is coming in. And we realize that, wow, okay, if I actually get all those things, what will people think? Will we lose our friends and our family if we rise? Will it all be for nothing if we try and fail? But we must be willful, and we must have courage. We must repeat to ourselves, this is what I really want for me. Yes, I am worth it. And then we stand up straight, put on our crown of sovereignty of our own lives, and go to battle. So wow, that's a powerful message and really feels quite aligned with everything that we're seeing stream in here for this week. So as I said, when we move through this new moon this week, I'm going to be tapping in more deeply through the empowerment pack. We'll be doing our new moon reading. You are invited to join along. If you are not already with us, you can book with me the Hello Empowerment reading, and you will receive the full in-depth new moon in Virgo reading along with the custom spread that I will choose for our messages, and then also personal oracle card pulls just for you. So if you want to join us for that, or if you're already with me for the empowerment pack, stay tuned this week as this will be unfolding and unfurling as we open up and release our resistance here for that new moon this week on Thursday. Let's wrap things up with Friday for our tarot messages. Okay, finally Friday, bringing in the caboose here with our wrapping up of the week. It's the 7 of Swords. So we start with swords, we end with swords, and 2 of the swords cards that are a little bit of that energy. So what is the 7 of Swords about? The 7 of Swords is the card that I say, don't let anyone steal your joy, not even your sneaky self. So yes, it is a card that carries a vibration of a little sneakiness, betrayal, stealing, underhanded energy. And yes, this can be external, but most often I feel it coming up as aspects of self. And I would say for sure, I'm feeling that because we start with the very internal process of churning around those 9 of Swords, it's all here, it's all within, it's not necessarily external. So this is feeling for me like wrapping up our week as we started it in the head. And that doesn't mean on Friday. It could be, but like I said, these cards are playing out. Time is not linear. These are just placeholders. All of this energy is intermingling and working throughout the week. It could have already been showing up for you. It might show up for you after Friday. It really is very fluid. So by no means do I mean happening Friday, but I do feel this energy. There's an interesting story here in the Raven's Dream that I want to share because I think this has to do with those stubborn set ways, internal sabotage, our inner saboteur, the ways that the sneaky peas show up like procrastination. Along with procrastination, we have perfectionism, people pleasing, sneaky ways, covert ways that the energy of resistance shows up, the energy of control, the energy of trying to get caught up in a mental maze in order to figure out challenges and circumstances that we're faced with navigating. So let's talk about what's happening for the Raven. I'm actually going to put my glasses on because it's pretty dark today, and I'm not going to lie, I need some help to see when it's like that. The 7 of Swords. So the Raven revealed to the fox It's fatigue of consistently dividing its meals with its mate, voicing a desire to relish a solo feast fit for royalty for once. Now, remember when I talked about all the activity in your environment, Grand Central Station, the energy of a lot going on and having a hard time finding peace of mind? That's what I'm feeling here for this raven and their partner. So, confiding in the fox, voicing a desire to relish a solo feast fit for royalty just for once. The cunning fox listened with rapt attention, echoing that the raven indeed deserved to savor the bountiful fish all by itself. Serving as a pillar of support, the fox proposed an intriguing solution. The raven could temporarily confine its mate within a box, allowing it to enjoy its meal undisturbed, while its partner remained oblivious in the darkness. The raven deemed this an exceptional plan, extending gratitude to its newfound confidant. Later that afternoon, with a sense of triumphant anticipation, the raven set the trap, relishing the thought of a solitary fish feast. Let me give a disclaimer here on my messages for you. I am not suggesting that you lock your mate up in a box, okay, so that you can eat in peace. That's not what we're saying. It's metaphorical, okay? Meanwhile, the fox loitered inconspicuously in the vicinity, keenly awaiting the moment the box would close. Before the raven could taste its first morsel of fish, the fox sprang into action. The fox leisurely savored the raven and the fish before carrying the to-go box home, reserved for a delightful midnight treat. Wow. Okay, so you see who got all of these spoils there in the fox, the clever fox. So again, don't let anyone steal your joy, not even your sneaky self. Or my mom, who's about to walk in my house and my dog's going to go nuts. Okay? Grand Central Station. She just dropped by. So no matter what's happening in your environment, do we see the theme here of really finding that peace within? So this energy feels like it's coming up around, the sneaky ways that those aspects of yourself, and they're very clever. This is talking about ego. It's talking about lower vibrational energy. It's talking about, again, it's sneaky and can be deceptive. So when we started out spinning our wheels, trying to think our way through things, analysis paralysis, churning around all this old stuff, that's not the way, because ultimately it's going to exhaust you and deplete you and create for you an environment where you cannot be in the vibration of joy. So I really do feel this is very internal. I don't think that it's so much outside of us. It is in terms of the circumstances that are happening around us. These things are happening, right? We are experiencing this thing, whatever it is, right? The young wolves are zealous and unruly and they're set in their way, or the old wolves, like I said, metaphorically, the people, the places, the things, the characters in our stories and how they show up and how they challenge us and stretch us and us sometimes. Think about how you can outsmart the part of yourself that wants to pull you down into the muck and to just say, yep, doom, gloom, Groundhog Day, same old, so I'm just going to keep on showing up the same way, or if I can't beat them, join them, so I'm down here in the muck too. That lower vibrational energy that can really end up not serving us. Apparently Mercury wanted me to remind you, Mercury the trickster, Mercury the clever fox wanted me to remind you that this is his final day in retrograde on Friday as he stations direct, because I've never seen this before, but my Marco Polo just completely froze and it looked like it was still recording, but it was frozen. And then a message came up that said, yikes, we've encountered a problem. So one last gasp from Mercury as a reminder that Friday is also the day that Mercury stations direct. You got to roll with these things, guys. You got to roll with these things. So I do want to finish a couple points though about this Seven of Swords, because I think it's so on point. Strategy and deception. Seven of Swords representing strategic thinking. Yes, Nine of Swords spinning and churning as we started the week. Strategic thinking, but it can also suggest deception or manipulative behavior, not even your sneaky self, right? You may need to be strategic in your approach to a situation, or someone might need to be more honest with you. Stealth and secret plans. So the card can signify operating secretly or working behind the scenes to achieve a goal. It can suggest that subtlety and stealth are required rather than confronting a situation directly. Independence. The Seven of Swords can also suggest a desire to be independent or do things your way. It might indicate a need to rely on your resources or abilities rather than those of others. Now, I had wanted to say, Resistance is card 25, which is a 7 energy. And so now I feel that here. The 7 energy is showing up again, the ways that we're trying to hold on, to manage, to control, to manipulate in some cases to an end, right? To get the desired behavior or desired outcome. What ways does that sneaky covert resistance show up for you? That is a theme that we're being invited to explore this week and definitely in this new moon energy. So yeah, I'm feeling this coming up big time. It's going to be really interesting to see how all of this plays out for us this week as we navigate. I wonder how this might be resonating for you. I always love to hear from you. And remember, if you would like a personal card pull just for you, you can request that right here on my September Empowerment Sharecast. You can just quick reply to this message or to send me a message any other way that you would like a card pull this week. And I will tune in here on Marco Polo and do a personal card pull for you. But you also are invited, all are welcome to join us tonight, Sunday. I'm leaning towards 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time just because life. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is our usual meet time over on the Majestic Living Designs Crystal Community. I'm so excited to be back. We missed last week for the holiday weekend. We're going to be doing personal card pulls there live tonight and chatting on these energies and more. So do join us if you can. I'll put all the housekeeping items here in Marco Polo or in the caption where you might be reading this on social media, which will have the link to the live tonight. It will also have the link for the Hello Empowerment reading if you'd like to join me for the new moon this week for a more comprehensive dive into these energies. And I will also be putting the Marco Polo Sharecast link if you're watching this anywhere else other than right here on the September Empowerment Sharecast. Please do come join us. Please also feel free to share this link with anyone who you think might like to be here for these messages and more as we continue to navigate this month of September. So thank you guys so much for being here. I'm sending you so much love, many blessings. Hope to see you tonight on the live or connect with you right here in Marco Polo throughout the week. Take good care.